It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.
Hey guys, welcome to my new video. Today we're going to be doing a little bit of cooking. I'm going to show you how to make the best fried wings ever. And I'm going to teach you a new cooking technique today called double frying. They're going to come out extra crispy. These are going to be a breaded fried wing. If you like wings, you're going to love this video. Also, there's two bonus recipes in this video. I'm going to teach you how to make a couple different sauces, my two favorite sauces. And that's coming up in the video today. I mean, who doesn't like wings? Who doesn't like wings? This video I actually made last night when I started to make wings just normally. And I'm like, I'm going to videotape this real quick just to share with you guys. Because I thought you guys might get a kick out of it. You might want to try it at home. But, a lot of places have the wing specials at the bars and restaurants and stuff like that. But sometimes you just don't feel like going out. So this is a good way how you can make them at home. We're also going to make them in a skillet full of oil instead of the deep fryer I usually use. So people don't have deep fryers are going to get a little lesson on how to get up to temperature. I just think it's interesting. So without further ado, there's also going to be a special announcement at the very end of the video. So make sure you watch it to the end. And leave me a like and subscribe on the bottom. It really helps me out. I'm not asking for Patreon or donations or anything. But a little like down here. I think it's down there. Yeah. Just click that little like button for me. Leave a comment. Hey, leave a comment, leave a suggestion, leave a request. I'm always taking requests for food to cook. I'll be happy to, consider, challenge me. Give me something I've never cooked before. I'll still try it, pass or fail. But I'm not going to lie, this video is not a fail. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. Okay, you can see here we have our wings. These are the whole wings. And you see there's a joint there and a joint there. If you want to cut them, and I highly recommend you do, especially if you're cooking these at home in a small fryer, or even if you're cooking them in a skillet with some oil. They're going to cook up better if you cut them like I'm going to show you. Now to cut them, you just go find your little joint there, right through it with a sharp knife. I use a big knife because I have better control over it. Same with this one. We're going to cut down, find that little joint right through the middle. There's two. Show you one more time and then we'll fast forward through these. Right down there into the joint. Had to work a little bit on that one, but it worked. That's why you need a big, sharp knife. If you have a small knife, you could lose control and cut yourself. It's easier to control a bigger knife. So there's two. I've gotten 4 wing things out of it. These little pieces here, I'm going to hold on to these because I plan on making some wedding soup, and I need to make a chicken stock. And these would be perfect to throw in to help make my stock. So I'm going to cut the rest of these, and we'll go on to how to season these. Now that we got our wings all cut up nicely and they're ready to go, we're going to season them with some sea salt. Just generously on the sea salt. This is the only time I'm really going to put any salt in this. Some black pepper. You don't have to use a grinder. You can use it straight from a regular shaker or whatever. This is just what I had sitting here. It kind of makes it look fancy. So, some garlic powder. Just a dusting, there's no real set measurement on it. And then some onion powder. And then one last ingredient on there. Seasoned salt. Which you can omit one or the other. I have both the salts in here because I really like having the flavor. We're going to add just a little bit more pepper in here. That pepper shaker was taking forever. So, a little dusting of the pre-ground pepper. Then we're going to get in there, we're going to mix them all around into the seasonings. Get a nice coating on every wing. Separate them, rub them together, get that seasoning all through there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to put these in the refrigerator. Then I'm going to clean up my mess. That's why I always use a red cutting board when I'm using raw meat. And then after I get that all cleaned up, we'll go to the next step. So, okay, my work area here has been sanitized. I washed out that the red cutting board and put it away. We won't be needing it anymore. I'm going to make our batter mix. Now, this is optional. So if you don't want to bread them, you can just throw them in the fryer naked. But I really, really suggest trying this this breading I'm going to show you. And we're going to put in about, this is 1 cup of flour here. Put in about 1.5 cups of flour. So we've got 1.5 cups of flour. Next, we're going to put in baking powder.
Now, I love using baking powder in all of my recipes when I use breading because it's a tablespoon of baking powder. Baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. Very, very important. You don't get those two mixed up. Okay, after your baking powder, we're going to put in some more black pepper. Just a dusting. No exact measurements, folks, like I always say. Seasoned salt. No exact measurements. This is going to get spread so finely over the wings. It does make a difference, but there's really not a way to screw it up. This is now garlic powder. And onion powder. You could add basil to it. You could add whatever you want. This is just how I do it. Now I got that all done. We are going to find us a mixer, whisk, and I'm just going to mix that up in my breading pan. Just get it mixed up in there real good. You really want to mix the flour very well because you want that baking powder to get around. And, oh, you know what? I forgot one very important thing. Why do I always do that? Every time I make stuff, I always forget one important ingredient. And I'm getting it right now. Ingredient I forgot was cornstarch. And we're going to put a nice heaping tablespoon of cornstarch in there. That helps your breading stick better to your wings. Much better. That's why you don't want to forget it. And then we'll mix that up. Like I said, it wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't forget something or make a small mistake. But mistakes are opportunities. If you make a bad enough mistake and you overcome it and nobody knows and doesn't make anybody sick, then you're doing okay. All right, that is my breading. That's all we need for the breading. Now I'm going to heat my fryer up to 350 and we're going to get started on that. Now, like I said, you don't have to keep these in the refrigerator if you don't want to. But did you see I left them in the refrigerator? They kind of, gives the spices a chance to soak into the meat. That's just how I prefer to do it. All I'm doing is dumping my wings into my breading that we made, and we are just going to coat them all. It can be a little messy, but you want to get everyone, make sure you get it covered in your breading. And like I said, we're going to preheat our oil to about 350, no higher than 350, because we're actually going to double fry these. Now, double frying them will give them a crispier outside. So, in fact, I'm actually going to heat my oil to about 330. It's a little low temperature to cook these for the first few minutes. And you'll see what I'm going to do. But anyway, that's all you got to do to bread them. I'm going to set these aside, wash my hands, and get the fryer shot ready. So you'll see I decided to use a skillet today, or a big pot, instead of my fryer. And I'll tell you why. I went to use my fryer, and I realized the last thing I cooked in that fryer was fried cod, or fried haddock. Now, when you cook haddock in your oil, everything you cook after that will tend to taste like the fish that you just used. And I meant to clean it out, because it was ready to clean it out anyway, but I never got to it. So, I decided to use a fresh batch of oil in my pot here. And I don't have my thermometer because my wife and I share this kitchen and we seem to misplace it all the time. So I've had this heating up on about medium to high heat for about 10 minutes. And I don't have a thermometer to see what temperature it is. Well, it's not smoking yet, so I know my oil's not too hot. But here's how to tell if it's too cold. Take a little pinch of your flour and just drop it in there. And you can see it's starting to, there it goes. It'll fizz up, and it's pretty much when you know it's okay to start using it. So we're going to take our wings, and we're going to put a few in there. Be very careful. Drop them facing away from you so you don't burn yourself. I turn my heat down to medium because I think this oil is very hot, as it is. Might be a little hotter than I need it. But that's the best guesstimate of how I can tell if it's done. Now, I'm going to have to do these wings in 2 batches. You can see I got them in there. Nice bubble, like kind of telling me that my oil is just a tad too hot, so we'll see what happens. I am turning my heat down just a little bit to medium. And this is, unfortunately, this is all guesswork. But that's what they should look like when you put them in, that rolling boil of oil. Boil of oil. I'm going to cook that for a few minutes. I'll show you how you can tell when they're done. Now, it has been about only 3 minutes. And I want to look at these. There's one there. You can see how it's starting to turn just a little bit blonde. I want to pull them out after this 3 minutes. I got a better tool to use for this. I'm going to pull these out after the 3 minutes and set them aside. In this case, I'm just putting them on a cookie sheet. You don't have to put paper towels down or nothing. It doesn't have to be a drying rack at this point. The lower temperature I was trying to use will cook your meat before it crisps the outside. Okay, so that's the first batch. Now I'm going to add the second batch into the oil for another 3 minutes. I can tell the oil has come down in temperature a little bit more to what it should be. So I'm very hopeful on how these wings will come out for us. Okay, yeah, we're going to get this done in 2 batches. Well, like I said, we're going to double fry them. So hang on another couple minutes while I get these caught up, and I'll show you what the second process of this is. Alright, our second batch is about done. It's been 3, maybe 4 minutes, because the temperature of the oil was down a little lower. I'll put those on my cookie sheet. And you see they're a nice blonde color, not brown, blonde. Where is that breading just started to cook and it got the heat on the inside. Like I said, there's no need for paper towels or anything at this point. I'm just going to throw them in this cookie sheet. They're still going to cook here for a few minutes while they're resting. Alright, that's all that. Now we're going to turn our heat up. I want to get this up a little hotter oil for the second fry. A cook asked me one time when I was training him, he says, well, why can't we just turn the fryer up when the wings are in there? Because it'll be a slower heat and it just won't work. How can I explain it? The crisping method doesn't work if you're going from a lower temperature to high. We're only talking about 20 degrees here difference, but it does make a difference. Plus, these wings are resting now, and even though they're resting, they're still going to cook a little bit more. So when they go back into the hotter oil, this hotter oil will concentrate on cooking the outside of the wing, which will give you that crispy texture that we're going for. So let's heat this up and we'll get started on doing the second step of this. 2 more minutes have passed. I got my oil up to where I want it to be nice and hot. Now I'm taking the first batch that I had taken out and I'm plopping it right back in that oil. There's that sizzle we're looking for. That tells us our oil is nice and hot. Once again, be careful you don't splash yourself, because hot oil hurts. It's not fun. We're going to cook these in there about another 5 minutes. Now, as you can see, some of the oil has gotten soaked up into the wings, and it's not quite covering them. So I'm just going to gently try to make sure all my wings are covered like that. We're going to cook it on this high heat for 5 more minutes. I'm going to repeat the same for the second batch, and you'll see what the finished product is. So we're ready to take these out. You can see they look pretty good. There's one right there. This is when we put them on the drying rack. These are all done cooking. I'm going to put it with these, let some of this grease drain out so it retains its crispiness. I can tell just by feeling these come out nice and crisp. They are going to be yummy. I am going to do the other batch the exact same way I just did this for the second turn. And then I'm going to show you how to make some cool sauces to go with it. There's how our wings came out, fresh out of the fryer. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of seasoned salt on all of them, because that's what my wife likes, and I do too. Just a little dash all over everything. These are done. Let's get to those 2 sauces now. Okay, like I said, I'm going to teach you how to make 2 sauces today. They both start out the same way. Get yourself a skillet or a pot, whichever one you choose to use. It all works the same. Starts out with half a stick of butter in each one. This one's going to be a garlic Parmesan sauce. This one's going to be, excuse me, I want to make the garlic Parmesan here. This is going to be garlic Parmesan. This is going to be my favorite buffalo wing sauce. So we're going to melt this. I have my heat on low to medium. You do not want to use a high heat. You just want to get your butter to melt nicely in both pans. Don't let it burn. You can cut it up if you want to. And as soon as that is melted, we're going to add some stuff. I was saying before, a half a stick of butter is a 1/4 cup. So for our buffalo wing sauce, I want to add a 1/2 cup of any kind of hot sauce you choose. I'm using Frank's today. And on this one, we're going to add normally about 6 cloves of garlic. I use 10 because mine were small, and you can see this is my food processor thing. This is why you want to keep a low heat. You don't want to burn your garlic. So I'm actually turning this down a little bit. And I'm putting some garlic in there. Like I said, it was about 6 cloves, regular size, but these are really small, so I went ahead and used 10. And then I'm saving myself about 1 clove of garlic for my buffalo sauce. These little spatulas are very handy. So far the only difference is the red hot and the one. But this garlic in this one especially, you just want to saute it on a low heat. And how you can tell when the garlic is done is you will smell that garlic aroma coming up. This one we just got to stir. All we're doing with this one is melting our butter into our hot sauce. As you can see, this one is going good. We're going to add black pepper to both of them. Just a little bit in that one. That's about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And about a whole teaspoon in the buffalo sauce. I like to put garlic powder in my buffalo sauce, even though I already put garlic in there. Little parsley in this one, just for color. Last ingredient in Frank's, or the buffalo sauce, is a little cayenne pepper. Now I can turn the buffalo sauce up a little bit because I want to heat that all and incorporate those flavors. I don't want to boil it though. So you don't want to boil it. And this here is done. You said, oh, but what about the Parmesan? I put the Parmesan very, very last. I actually put them on the wings. So I killed the heat to this one. We're going to take that off the heat. You can see all this is the garlic started to get nice and soft. Almost a translucent, but in that low heat, the key is to not burn your garlic. And this here, we'll let that heat up for, probably another 2 minutes on low. Next up is the finished product. First up is going to be our garlic Parmesan wings. Put that there. I just like to do these stainless steel pans. I'm going to give this a good mix it. Cool down a little bit. And I'm going to pour it, just drizzle it right over your wings in I call it a tossing pan. Get yourself a nice tossing pan. And we're just going to literally toss the wings. Toss, 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 toss. Remember I said about the Parmesan, now's when we add it. This is actually, I know it's a store-bought container, but this is actually a big chunk of Parmesan I bought at the grocery store, ran to my food processor to grate it up myself. Might be a little pretentious, but it's like it's how I like to do it. So my wife's here and she said she wanted 6, so there's 6 beautiful garlic Parmesan wings. A little more Parmesan on there. Doesn't that look good? I think it looks good. I think she's going to like it. Next up is my dinner, which is going to be the hot wings. Same principle. I'm going to take this. Just give this a little stir. Come out nice. And pour that in there. Just drizzle. Mine are a lot easier. I don't have to add no weird stuff. Put a couple. You can put too much or too little. Doesn't really matter. It all depends on how much you like. Give it a toss. Toss, 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 toss. Toss, toss, toss. And there are my hot wings. They both look delicious, don't they? Well, it's time to eat them because it's dinner time. This gives you a better shot of it. I couldn't see the camera when I was doing it. So we got your garlic Parmesan and we got the Buffalo chicken wings, nice and crispy, double fried like I taught you. Now it's time for the taste test. You see my lovely wife came home from work to a nice hot meal. I don't know if you can see in her plate there, but I also made some ribs for her. And of course our two best buddies are here waiting to get any kind of little scraps. What do you think?
Delicious.
She has the garlic Parmesan ones. I'm not doing a taste test today because I'm still in my jammies. True story.
Oh, very good.
All right. To the outro.
So that's all there is to it. It's really easy. I mean, you can do it at home. You don't need a deep fryer. I prefer a deep fryer myself, but like I said in the video, I didn't clean the deep fryer out, so I went ahead and used a fresh skillet. And you can see how different they come out, how nice they come out. You cook it at the low temperature first, set it aside, then cook it at the higher temperature. It really crisps up that breading. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the video or not, but you don't have to use breading if you don't want to. You could throw them in there plain, and they will still crisp up the same way. Use the same technique. I hope you enjoy the sauces. Those are two of my favorites. My wife doesn't like hot things, so the butter Parmesan one is the garlic Parmesan sauce. It's just a quick sauce you can make at home for someone that doesn't like, or someone doesn't like hot food, or if you want to try something different. Like I said, it's easy. I'm sure you've seen the video how easy it is. Special announcement. And I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm a little excited about it. And I possibly have gotten offered my old chef job back, the one that I really like, not the last one I had. The last one I had was in some crappy Italian restaurant that didn't agree with the owner very well. But my old chef job back, where I left on my own accord, kind of got offered the job back, and I'm seriously considering it. I would like to get back in the kitchen again. It is nice being retired and doing what I do, but I'm kind of tempted to get back in a real kitchen like this and put out some really good food, and maybe even get some videos in the process to share with you guys. So I'm kind of psyched about it. I hope you're happy for me. Please leave a like, subscribe, pass this around so I can get some more subscribers, because I'm still going to make these cooking videos. I love doing it, and I hope you guys find it useful. So, okay, I'll see you next time.
I reckon Mr. Bruce got it right this time. He's not such a dumbass.